Good day, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Favi, and welcome to Arrows DIY. On this channel, I love creating Dollar Tree DIYs, high-end dupes, thrift flips, and the occasional trashy treasure. This month, I have the privilege of guest hosting for the first Friday Open Challenge, hosted every month by Lisa of Our Gray House and Sarah of Jujubee DIY. I'll leave their links in my description box as well as the playlist link for more inspiration. So today I'm bringing you some Dollar Tree DIYs using the Dollar Tree window clings. These are the window clings that I love and I was able to find at my Dollar Tree. So I'm so excited to show you some really cute projects. For project number 1, we're going to be using this sign. I've had it for some time on my stash and I'm really trying to craft through my stash. So I'm going to go ahead and struggle to take this little pumpkin. Super simple. This first one is, I'm not even sure if we can call it a DIY, but I did it myself, so I think it counts. We're going to take some Mod Podge and put a little bit in the middle of that wreath. I did not remove the wreath because I wanted to keep it super simple, but you could totally take it off with a heat gun and, just rip it off and put it back on later or change the greenery out for another one. But I just thought this was super cute. Now, when I'm adding this Mod Podge to the back of this window cling, I try to keep it very thin. And then I'm just going to carefully place it in the center of that wreath, removing any leaves out of the way and just pressing it down very well. I wanted to be sure that this Mod Podge wasn't going to get stuck under the window cling and not show. But I was so delighted to see that the Mod Podge completely dried clear even if it was under the window cling, and I'll show you that in a bit. So this is how it's turning out. It's super simple, but I think it's super cute and makes the sign reversible. So now we're going to flip the sign over and we're going to take off the sticker, which was very simple this time around. I'm going to go ahead and give this entire thing a coat of this plaster chalk paint, and I'm going to give it 3 coats. I did not remove the hanger because I wasn't sure where this project was going. I was kind of just creating. I love creating on a budget. If you're new here, my name is Favi. I am a crafty mother of 6 and I just love creating on my spare time. It's my crafty therapy, my me time, and for my sanity, really. So I'm so happy you're here. Please subscribe if you want to see more of what I make in this house. So now I'm using these window clings, and I'm going to use these poster stickers as well. Now, these poster stickers are amazing. I use them all the time in my projects. If you don't have a Cricut, this is an awesome alternative. I'm going to go ahead and start spelling the word on the top right of this sign, and I'm just going to use the edge of the sign to help me space these letters. So I'm trying to keep the bottom of these letters the same distance from the sign. And I'm start with the end of the word. I'm sure by now you can guess what I'm spelling. Yes, pumpkin. And I'm going to go ahead and just press these letters down real good to make sure they have a good bond. When I was drying my paint, I put the heat gun close to the chalk paint to cause a little crackle in the corner there, so that's what you're seeing, but that was totally on purpose. I like distressed looks, but sometimes I distress heavier than others, and this one I wanted a very light distressing. So I'm going to go ahead and just take this window cling and we're going to use the word hello. After I remove it, I just cut the end of the word hello to just make it curved like the rest of the window cling, and we're going to put it like so. What I love about these window clings is it allows you to get a high-end look for a very low cost. So now I'm going to take some Mod Podge and I'm going to apply a very thin layer all around the back of the window cling, and I'm going to press it down with my fingers. It's very important not to pull the cling because you can distort the shape, and you don't want to use your nails at all because it will leave a print on the plastic. So just gently with your fingertips press it down all around to smooth it down. You could also use a brayer if you want to. I just used my fingers and that worked out well for me. So once it was all pressed down and adhered, we're just going to seal the entire thing with Mod Podge. So I put a good layer, a thick layer of Mod Podge on there because I was trying to match the level of the window cling. I wanted the surrounding of the window cling, that border, not to show as much. So I thought that if I put Mod Podge at the same level of it, that it would help disguise that border. And I think it did. Now I'm using a shiny coat Mod Podge. It's the only one I had left on my stash when I recorded this video. Now obviously I have matte Mod Podge. So if you don't like a sheen or a high gloss finish on your projects, you can definitely use the matte Mod Podge instead. So I go ahead and I give the entire thing one good coat of Mod Podge. And remember, Mod Podge dries clear, so no worries. And I make sure to get all the way to the edges of the sign. Once it's all done, this is what it's looking like. And as a finishing touch, I just took some of these cupcake picks in a 20 piece and I cut off some of the pumpkins on top. Some of them just pop right off, but other ones I had to cut off. So I took 2 of them and cut them off. I ended up just using 1, but I'll show you 2 ways you can embellish this. I had to use scissors to cut this one off. So now we're just going to take some jute twine and we're going to wrap it very, very heavily around the top of the sign just to cover the beginnings of the hanger. And I kept it really thick and I'm just going to secure it in the back with some hot glue. Then I made a simple shoestring bow with the jute twine, and now I added some of those pumpkin picks at the bottom. I do end up changing my mind later, so you'll see that in a second. But this is how this adorable little pumpkin sign turned out. Let me know what you think about this one in the comments below. I think it's adorable, but I think it's so cute. You guys let me know what you think in the comments below. It's super simple and the perfect layering piece for my home. For this next project, we're going to be using this ornament sign from the Dollar Tree from the Christmas time. I'm going to go ahead and just remove the hanger as well as this metal top piece with my bare hands because I couldn't find the tool. All right, so now we're just going to flip it over and we're going to use some tape. I could not find anything this day in my craft space. I don't know. Everything was right in front of me, but I couldn't find it when I needed it. So I'm just using this high quality masking tape, just clear tape. I'm going to tape it to the top third of the sign and I'm going to paint the top in this Waverly chalk paint in the color plaster. I give it 2 coats to give it a nice solid color, and I make sure to cover the edges as well. As I was showing you this, I noticed I missed a spot, so I'm just touching that up and letting it dry. So now my favorite part, we're going to reveal that crisp line, and I was super happy with that. That part is always so satisfying. It does not get old. So now we're going to go in with some window clings. I wasn't sure which ones to use at this point, so I was just playing around with different clings. Make sure your paint is totally dry before you try this. But my original idea was to use the truck window clings instead. So I just went back to my original idea, and I'm going to use the word fall for this one. Now, I just love the fall. Guys, the fall is my favorite. I am a fall baby. I was born in the fall, and I just love everything about the cozy and the vibes of fall. So this sign is definitely a homage to fall. I'm going to go ahead and just put all the fall things on this sign. Now, I'm going to show you 2 versions of how you could have designed this sign. You could totally use this one window cling pack if you want. So as you can see here, I'm going to show you quickly how I arranged all of the leaves and all the fall things from this window cling. But I don't know. I think it was cute. It just wasn't really the vibe I was going for. So I ended up just scrapping this. Let me know if you think this one was cute. It is cute. I just wasn't going for this. This was not what was in my mind's eye. So I'm going to go ahead and just scrap this design, however cute it is, and I'm going to try something else. So I love the word fall from this window cling, but I wanted to use the decals from the other window cling. So far this project's running us about $3. And you know I love budget decor. I'm gonna go ahead and use this window cling instead. And I'm not gonna use the center one. I'm gonna use all the other embellishments around because I just love the watercolor effect of this window cling. It definitely goes with the colors that I'm using for this fall. So as you can see here, I'm gonna show you how I arrange these window clings. And it took me some time, but remember, this is just fun for me. I take my time, I create from the heart. So once I put the leaves on the left side of that, I really like how it looked. I was happy with that. So now I just continue adding all the fall things from this sign. So we got sweater weather, we got pumpkin spice, which is my favorite. Let me know below which one is your favorite fall drink. Whether it's cider, hot chocolate, whatever you like, let me know below. So here I'm also putting the pumpkin and these two little decals on the side, kind of like these leaves, these vine little doodles. I'm gonna put them around this pumpkin sign. So once I arrange them like this, I really like how they look. Now, I apologize for the shine. It is gonna go away if you use matte Mod Podge. My sign is shiny because I used a high gloss finish on mine. So once I arranged them how I liked, make sure the spacing was correct, I added the Mod Podge. So now I'm gonna add a good amount of Mod Podge and I'm gonna go section by section so I don't lose the placement of my decals. It's okay if they move a little tiny bit, but I just didn't want to forget the arrangement. So I removed the word fall, I add a good amount of Mod Podge, and I'm going to put them right back in the same place where I had them originally. Now when I put the Mod Podge, I try to keep it in one direction because when it dries, you do see the direction of your brush strokes. You do see the direction of your brush strokes. Wow, I can't say brush strokes. Well, now I can. Okay, so then as you can see here, I just removed the leaves, I put the Mod Podge on, and then we just put the leaves right back on. This is very simple. That's what I love about this project. It's very simple to do. You could get Mod Podge at the Dollar Tree, so this can completely be done with just Dollar Tree supplies. So just going section by section, you'll be able to do this without losing your placement. Now I was worried that the Mod Podge would show underneath the window clings and you really don't see them, which was very nice. At this point, my projects hadn't dried yet, so I wasn't sure how it was going to look once the Mod Podge dried. So this is how it looked once it was fully dry. And I was totally happy with that. There's no white spots underneath the window clings, so I considered it a win. It's such a cute sign. But just make sure to press your window clings very firmly, very securely, and you shouldn't have any issues. So now we're just gonna embellish it. To give it a finished look, I went around the edges with some jute twine and my detail tip Surebond or glue gun. It just helps get very small amounts of hot glue in very thin places. I love this for detail work. So I just put some hot glue on the edge there, and I'm gonna go ahead and put the twine in the front of the sign and kind of roll it back. So I learned that if I put the twine on this way, it leaves less glue residue and looks very neat. So what I mean is I put the twine on the front of the sign, across the front of the sign, and then I roll it back into the glue without touching the glue. If you touch the glue, it'll make your twine super goopy and messy, and we don't like that. Now, if that does happen to you where you touch the twine and your twine is now a goopy glue mess, just use your heat gun and melt the hot glue away from the twine. Just a little tip if you want to have your twine looking high end. So I just go around and do the same thing all around this round, and I just do it one time. I go around one time. Now my hot glue got a little dry on me, so I did have to warm it up with the heat gun, and then I just cleaned up any hot glue mess with the heat gun. And then I just go around and do this for the entirety of the sign. Now once I tack down both of the ends at the top there, I'm going to go ahead and add some more jute twine. And I pull a whole bunch through the loop, and then I just decided to cover the hanger portion with the jute twine. So it's very simple. I just make sure to keep it tight, close together, so that there's no pieces of the hanger showing in between the twine. And I do that for the entirety of the hanger portion. Now if you come to a spot that looks crazy, like my jute twine here got crazy on me, I just cut off that section and hot glued it and continued with a new piece of jute twine. So as you can see here, I kept it very tight and I just wound it around that hanger portion, the top part of the hanger portion. Then I just secured it on the back with some hot glue and cut off the excess jute twine. And I love the rustic feel that this jute twine adds to the sign. It definitely helps it look way more high-end. So I think the details is definitely what makes your project stand out from the rest. So we're gonna go ahead and now add a bow. I got this ribbon from Dollar Tree. It is wired. And like I said, I'm really trying to craft through my stash. So I do add another ribbon that I got at Michael's for $1. If I find another place that sells budget-friendly craft materials, I will buy them. I do not discriminate against any store or any company that's going to give me a good deal. We're crafting on a budget. So now, as you can see here, I made a very simple bow. I just made 2 tails and I folded over a bow. And I'm going to do 2 bows. So this is the first one. I'm going to hot glue it in place. This is very simple to do because this ribbon is very stiff. So as you can see there, I'm just hot gluing the tails of the bow on first. And once they're hot glued in place, I'm going to push the middle of the bow down onto our sign. And I try to keep the bow centered. So I just pay attention to make sure the loops are even on both sides before I push the middle down. And that's how we're looking. Now for the second bow, I got this beautiful flower sack looking ribbon at Michael's. I got it for $1. With Michael's, sometimes you should check the prices because the ribbon don't always cost what the tag says. This tag was saying the ribbon was $3, but when I scanned it, it was $1. So I've gotten really good deals on ribbon. As you can see here, I just tied it into a simple bow. I show you later on how I make a simple bow. It's just like your shoelaces, very simple. And then I fold over the edges and cut it on a diagonal to make that dovetail. So I'm just adding a little ripple effect into the wire of the ribbon and then hot gluing the corner of one tail to not block any of our decals on this sign. And I think it looks so cute. To help finish it off, I just added a little wooden star from Dollar Tree. And that's it for this project. Let me know what you think about this one. I think it's so sweet. A perfect showcase of the things we love about fall. So there's how this one turned out. Let me know in the comments below what you think about this one. I love it. Now for this next project, I'm going to be using this wood round from Dollar Tree called Decor, surprise, surprise. And we're going to be using some of these acrylic paint markers I got from Hippie Crafter. So I'll link them below if you're interested. I do like these markers. I use them, my children use them. We love them for our art projects. But anyways, if you don't use a specific color for a long time, you are going to have to freshen it up. So as you can see there, I took a little piece of paper and I shook the marker. And I also pressed the tip in just to refresh the paint and recharge it, reload the tip of the marker with more of the paint. But as you can see here, I just took some time and relaxed as the baby was taking a nap on a weekend. I was just having fun here painting. Now, I do step away many times to attend to the children, but I always come back and I try to complete this project, and this was a lot of fun. Now remember, you can use any colors you like if you don't like the colors I choose. There's 24 colors in this pack, and they have different tips, so you can replace a tip as well with some tweezers. So it's 24 markers and an extra set of 24 tips, the chisel type tips. So as you can see here, I'm just filling in these leaves, and I think this color is beautiful. It's like a tan color, and I'm just filling in all of these leaf portions. Now I do want to match the decals that I'm using, which is why I'm picking these colors. So now I go in with kind of like a greenish color, and they have 3 or 4 different types of green in this pack. And I wasn't sure which one I was going to pick, but I ended up going with this soft green color, and it's kind of like a pastel color to match the decals I'm about to use. These paint markers are a lot more convenient than using paint. It's so simple. There's no cleanup, no brushes to deal with, and they're so pigmented and simple. So I'm going to go ahead and just fill it in with this blue color. I don't know, I was just having fun here. Remember, you can pick whatever colors you like for your project. And I just went ahead and filled in the whole leaf with these colors. Now I'm going in with this orange for the pumpkin. And my tip was a little dirty because my son, my 4-year-old, was using these for a project. So he was mixing the black with the orange, and by the time I noticed, it was too late. But they do have replacement tips, so I wasn't worried about it because oranges aren't always, pumpkins are not always perfect. So I was like, it's fine, it's a little dirty, pumpkins are in dirt, it's fine. And then I put gold on the peduncle, on the little stem of our pumpkin, and I loved it. Now, to tone down the colors a little bit, just to make them more pastel and look whitewashed, I took some plaster paint and I watered it down in a plastic cup, and I just used a little craft stick to mix it through. Now I'm just going to whitewash this sign because I didn't want the natural wood finish on this project. I wanted a little bit of a whitewashed. So now I'm going to go ahead and just whitewash it after I take off the hanger. I'm so ambitious when I'm DIYing that I forget to take off hangers. Does that happen to you? Because it happens to me all the time, as you can see. So once I finally took off the hanger, I went in and I whitewashed the entire project. This is optional, but I felt like whitewashing the wood would help these decals pop more, and I think they did. But you let me know if you would have whitewashed your project. I think it's just so pretty how soft it looks. I really like this one. I think I'm putting this one in my bathroom for the fall. So now I finally get to use this decal. Now you could put it just like this and your project is almost done if you just leave it just like this. But of course I had to take it a little further, and I'm just going to cut out the words out of this decal. I just had a vision and I had to realize it. So I hope you're here. Hang with me. It looks really cute at the end. So I'm going to go ahead and just cut off the wreath off this decal. And I want to surround this pumpkin because that's the star of the show. Now I'm going to fussy cut a little bit closer to the leaves just to give us some room for the pumpkin to fit. The pumpkin's a little plump, so we're just going to cut this down a little closer to the leaves on the inside. I didn't worry about the outside of the wreath because it's going on the sign. There's enough space for that. So I cut off one end of the decal to see how it would fit around the pumpkin. And once I got my placement right, I noticed that the stem and a little bit of the pumpkin were in the way. So I just took a permanent marker and I marked off the areas where that stem and the side of the pumpkin touched the wreath. And I just cut off those little edges with some detailed scissors. Very simple to do, not a big deal. Now I did get some permanent marker on my project, so I just used some alcohol really quickly and it came right off. So that's another tip I learned. Alcohol takes marker off. If you take it off really quickly with alcohol, I just scratched off the permanent marker. So now I'm going to use some Mod Podge, and just as before, a very thin layer in one direction, and we're going to apply this decal to surround our beautiful pumpkin. And I'm just showing you here, this is the speed at which I work at. Just take my time. Now I am going to speed it up because I appreciate your time. But I'm just trying to teach you that just take your time. You can make beautiful home decor, high-end looking decor with Dollar Tree supplies. And I'm always amazed at this stuff that Dollar Tree is bringing out now. It's so much better quality after the 25-cent increase, in my opinion. It's just if you're going to find it at your Dollar Tree or not, because I cannot find the new window clings or the calendar. All right, so as you can see here, we're going to just surround. Now, once the decal was in place, I pressed it down with my fingers, and then I just cut off the excess, whatever part of that decal is hanging over the sign. I cut it off at a 45-degree angle. So now we're going to add the words. So this is how it's looking, but now we have to add the words. So I'm going to go ahead and use this other piece of the wreath because I just can't waste this. Now I try to find my placement, and I tried so hard not to make it look like a baseball because it was looking like a baseball for a good amount of time. Just take your time, don't make it look like a baseball. And then I cut the words. I cut the decal with the words. I cut the decal very close to the words so that you won't see a lot of that border around the letters. And then I cut off anything that overhangs at a 45-degree angle with my scissors. And that's how we're looking. I think it's so sweet. I love these colors, and I was dying to use this decal. I just couldn't find the time last year. So hopefully you can find these decals at your Dollar Tree, or maybe you have them in your craft stash. So now I'm adding Mod Podge to the whole sign, making sure to apply it in one direction, or at least make your final strokes in one direction. And I went ahead and I sealed the pumpkin and everything else just to protect the sign and to give everything the same finish. Now I'm taking another ribbon I got from Michael's, and this was also $1, which is why I got it. Now I just make a simple shoestring bow, and I just dovetail the ends. Now nobody's bow looks good at the beginning, and almost everybody messes up a dovetail the first time. So don't worry, if you're not good at bows, it just takes practice. And don't give up on your bow. Keep pulling the tails, keep fluffing it, and you'll see it'll actually come out looking nice. Now I found this burlap ribbon at the Dollar Tree, and I'm going to add it around the border of the sign to help it look more finished. And I think it added just the most charming detail with this scalloped ribbon. Now I'm only adhering the inner scalloped edge. I'm leaving the outer scalloped edge to the outside of the sign. Now I'm gonna put our hanger back on and attach our bow. Now I'm gonna do the same thing for these tails. I'm gonna just give them kind of like a ribbon, like they're in the wind, blowing in the wind with our zigzag approach. So I'm just gonna kind of put a wave in the ribbon and tack it down to the sides. And I continue the wave all the way to the end of the ribbon. And that's how this one turned out. I think it's so sweet. I didn't want to add too much because the sign already had a lot going on. That simple ribbon I think was the perfect touch. But you let me know in the comments below what you think about this one. I want to thank you so much for watching today, for spending time with me creating. I want to thank our hosts Lisa and Sarah for inviting me to co-host this wonderful collab. Please check the playlist link out for more fall inspiration. I'll leave it in my description box below. But guys, please give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed any one of these projects. If you want to see more of what I make in this house, subscribe, and I'll see you in my next video. Take care, God bless. I'll catch you on the next one. Bye. If you like this video, here's another one you might enjoy.